How are you today, sir?
Well, you got a lot of time.
So they had a really nice, back of the day, that was a really, really nice. All right, I'm Joe. Can you hear, everybody hear me? I'm not a professional at this, okay? I'm just an ordinary guy. But we're volunteers with Samaritan's Purse, Operation Christmas Child. This is my wife, Mercedes, and this is Linda Marvin. She is my boss, okay? let's see, how many counties are you?
3. We have 3.
So there's Calhoun, Berry, and Branch counties. And so she's in charge of Operation Christmas Child with those 3 counties. And last year we decided to become volunteers with Operation Christmas Child. My wife and I wanted to do something together. I've been doing mission work in different directions. She's been doing ministry in other directions, and now we're doing something together. And so anyway, now I was privileged to grow up in a Christian home. I got saved at the age of 7. Eventually, I went to Bible college in Tennessee Temple. Does anybody know where? Anyone heard of Tennessee Temple? Yeah. All right. It's not in existence now. There's several colleges that they're all connected with some college in North Carolina now. But anyway, I went to Tennessee Temple because it was the only Christian college that had a photography major. I was already in photography, and I wanted to do that. And while I was there, God called me to do missionary photography. And I've done 10 trips over the years. I've done some things with ABWE. I did 2 trips for them, one in Chile, one in Peru. I've been to their mission thing in the summers when everybody comes home. And then I want Mercedes. Okay, we are very different. It's like this long teeter-totter that's really, really long, and then we got God in the middle, and she doesn't like this. But anyway, so I'm gonna read what I have got here. Okay, she grew up in the Dominican Republic, where they speak Spanish, and so I had this written for her. So anyway, I'm just gonna read this. Otherwise, anyway, it says. When I became a Christian at age 28, I found that there was not a lot of Christian literature in Spanish. And since I was a translator, I asked God for opportunities to help getting Christian literature available to the Spanish-speaking world. A mission trip from Calvary Church in Grand Rapids came to our area, and I was asked to interpret. Now, interpret and translation is 2 different things. It's kind of the same, but it's different. So she was interpreting between the Americans and the Dominicans. The ladies from Grand Rapids were able to connect me with Our Daily Bread Ministries, and Our Daily Bread Ministries brought me to the USA. I also did translation and editing work for Kriegel Publications. Kriegel's, they make books for pastors. If you go to the Christian bookstore, you might see a little corner where it's commentaries and that sort of thing. And so, so she has used her gifts in that way. And then when we got married 17 years ago, driving from Plainwell all the way to Grand Rapids in the snow was not really cool for someone from the Caribbean, okay? And in fact, when she came here in October, the year that she came with clothes from the Dominican Republic, and 10 days later there was 10 inches of snow on the ground. And then all these ladies in the church all started giving her clothes, and everybody thought she was wealthy. But anyway, she grew up in a very third world world. So anyway, I want to have a little bit of connection here. I want 2 people to find a verse for me. Okay, who can do this? Yeah. Actually, I'll just give it. Who can read this? Yes, I want someone who can read clearly and speak. Who can do this? Who's another volunteer? All right. There we go. There we go. And then you just hold on to that, and then I'm going to, there we go. Okay, now the person who has Matthew 28, go ahead and read that. Yes, Matthew 28.
28:18. Then Jesus came to them and said, "Therefore go and make disciples of all nations."
Right. So Jesus said, go and make disciples. Did Jesus say, go make churches? No, he did not say that. He said, go and make disciples. How many years did he work with his disciples? How many years? 3. Okay, 3 years. So he spent time with them, right? So what happens in our church? We get our neighbor to come to church. You know, they come to church. Maybe they go to Sunday school. Maybe they're tithe and all. But they're really not necessarily being discipled, are they? And what did Jesus say to do? To go and make disciples. So make is a big word here. Make disciples. Okay, so a disciple then is someone who is a student, someone who is learning the Word of God. And that's what Operation Christmas Child is all about. Now, what's the second one? Acts 1.
But you will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes on you, and you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem and all Judea and Samaria and to the ends of the earth.
Okay. Now let's look at this. Jerusalem. What does Jerusalem mean to you? Somebody give me an answer. What does Jerusalem mean to you and me? Our local area. Okay. So where we live, where we know other people, right? Okay. Now then he said Judea. What does Judea mean to us? What does Judea, this guy, what does Judea mean to us?
Going to other areas than our own.
Okay. The United States.
Yeah, spread out.
Right. But it's our culture. Okay. Like a missionary, he goes to another culture. But we know American culture, right? We know how to act in American culture, right? Yeah, we know how to do things, right? Exactly. Then he said, go to Samaria. Now, I'm going to ask the pastor, what does Samaria, what does Samaria, somebody else give me the question, or the answer. When Jesus said, go into Samaria, what does that mean to us?
Someplace we don't typically go.
Okay, typically go. Okay, it's going to be an outreach. How many of you have been watching The Chosen? It's being made it's on the internet. Okay, have you seen the one where James and John they got connected with a group of Samaritans, and the Samaritans were throwing stones at them? Do you remember that? Yeah. And they said, Jesus, look, you need to bring fire down on these people. because they were called the sons of thunder, right? Okay? And Jesus was stopping them, and he said, no, don't. He actually put his arms behind these guys, and he said, don't fight these guys, okay? Don't get into this conflict here, okay? Well, between the Samaritans and the Jews, they hated each other. If you were in Israel and you called someone a Samaritan, that would be the same equivalent as to call someone that is of African descent to call the N-word. Do you now get what Samaria is? So, what cultures do we have in America that are Samaria? The African culture, the Hispanic culture. And now, because of all these refugees, we have all kinds of cultures, okay? And so sometimes there's conflict between these cultures. Look at the politics that are going on right now. There's hatred between these cultures. What about the liberals? And I was thinking about this the other day. I unfriended a couple of my cousins over some really nasty liberal stuff. And I may have to fix this. Because I have to do this too. I have to do this too. So, what is Samaria? It's to people that are completely different from you, and you don't necessarily like them, and they don't necessarily like you. And what's happening in our culture? That's exactly what's happening. And to the point now that America is like divided in half. Our generation, we were all pretty much the same, right? Yeah. And everybody was patriotic, right? Exactly. Exactly. Well, what's happening in our culture? We have a lot of Samaria in America. Now, then he says, go to the ends of the earth. That's easy. Other countries. Go to China, go to Japan, go to Africa, go to Eastern European countries, go to South America, Central America, to the Dominican Republic. Sure, yeah. Oh, that's kind of easy, you just. But actually, that isn't all that easy. It takes a lot of work to understand that, because then you also have to understand the culture that you are dealing in. Now, in America, for instance, when I was in Chile, I found out that there was a term of endearment, and it was called gordito. And a husband would say to his wife, gordito, or gordita, excuse me, gordita, excuse me, the ah is the feminine, okay? And have you ever heard of a gordita, the Taco Bell gordita? Okay. Do you know what gordita actually means in the language? It means my little fat one. Now, how well is that going to go over in American culture to the ladies? Ladies, I'm getting some smiles from the ladies. That isn't going over very well, is it? So, when you go into another culture, you have to understand that culture. It's very, very, very important. Well, anyway, I do want to talk a little bit more about this Samaria thing. Billy Graham, most everybody knows Billy Graham. The young people, of the young people that are here, do you know who Billy Graham is? The young people. The young people do know. Okay, all right. How many of you know that Billy Graham is from the South? Probably most of you know that he was from the South, right? Okay. I've lived in the South 20-some years of my life. And in the African culture, they are taken care, they are very badly treated. Very, very, very badly treated down there. And Billy Graham said, in my crusades, he actually in Chattanooga, he tore down the ropes there were signs and ropes that said, African Americans sit over here, or colored sit over here. And he tore it down and he said, anyone who comes to my crusade can sit anywhere they want to sit. In fact, he would not go to South America, South Africa, because not only the apartheid, but also the churches, they were taking hyper-Calvinism, and they put it into the politics. He would not even go to South Africa because of that. Okay? And Jesus did the same thing. Jesus turned the word Samaritan into what? The Good Samaritan. We all grew up with the Good Samaritan, right? Pretty cool, right? The church, that building where I was saved in, was the pastor there was a Chaldean Christian. They speak Aramaic. If you know a little bit about the Bible, when Jesus would say a few words on the cross, all of that was in Aramaic. They didn't speak Hebrew, they were speaking Aramaic. The Aramaic people today are Christian. Jesus made an impact on those people. And that's what I find fascinating with Samaritan's Purse, is the fact that they overcame the culture and they made something different within the culture. Now, so we're part of Samaritan's Purse, but we're part of Operation Christmas Child. Now, you guys have been doing this for years, right? Everybody knows their boxes. How many boxes do you typically do?
Probably around 45 or so.
Okay, awesome. That's great. That's really good. Well, anyway, Operation Christmas Child was not started by Billy Graham, but it was actually started by another man. And then Franklin Graham actually was his son. Franklin Graham had been a bit of a rebel, and over time, God got a hold of him, and he started working with his dad a little bit. And there was a gentleman who wanted Franklin Graham to take over his ministry. He was dying, and he wanted him to take over this ministry. And so Franklin Graham actually started running Samaritan's Purse. And this is operated out of Boone, North Carolina. Mercedes and I have actually been there. And we went to their processing center one year. And because we were in North Carolina. Now, one of the things that they do is they take portable hospitals all around the world. So when there's a famine, they'll pack up this portable hospital and they'll take it to where the famine is. If there's a refugee situation, they'll go there. Right now, they're just, I don't know if they're actually in Ukraine, but they are in the countries surrounding Ukraine with hospitals. During COVID, they were actually setting up in Central Park in New York City and in San Francisco for COVID. So for what are those things, those ventilators and stuff. And so they were doing that sort of thing. So it's basically, it's that idea of taking care of people from a medical standpoint and also taking care of their needs. Now, during the Bosnian War in the early 90s, there were a lot of orphans. And someone had this brilliant idea of taking a shoebox and putting some toiletries and school supplies and a really nice gift. And it became such a big thing that last year they did 10.1 million boxes around the world. Yeah. So we're part of something, we're this little part of something really, really big. Now, let's go ahead and show number one, that video.
3, 2, 1!
And when those lids come off those boxes, you've never seen such pure joy.
So many smiles. The children just become wild and crazy. It's indescribable.
To watch that child open that box for the very first time and see the look on their faces, and it's amazing that God used a simple shoebox to bring that much joy.
This is amazing. As you can see, the children's faces, they are excited as they open up the gifts for the first time.
What makes the gifts more than just gifts is the message that comes with the gift.
This is the opportunity for a child to hear the gospel of Jesus Christ.
That is the best gift of all, is becoming part of God's family.
Thank you. We are very happy. God bless you. Yay!
These people back behind us, they're giving their time. Families have given boxes. The enthusiasm, the excitement, it's off the charts. We're just so thankful for these volunteers. We couldn't do it without them.
They are the heart of the ministry. And because of them, many children, like even me, accept Jesus as the Lord and Savior.
What children need more than anything is love, hope, and faith in God. Every shoebox gift is an opportunity to share your faith.
We thank you for this ministry that is yours, that you use a shoebox gift to go around the world to share the gospel of Jesus Christ.
It starts with a simple shoebox gift, and from there, these gifts go around the world and are given to each child. It could be in a pickup truck, it could be the top of a bus, the roof of a taxi, camels and donkeys, canoes going up the river, whatever it takes to get these gifts into the hands of children. And that's only the beginning.
After children receive the box, they get to go through a 12-lesson discipleship course. And these children, they're committing their lives to Christ. And they get to share their faith with other children.
After a child completes the greatest journey, they graduate and receive a certificate and a Bible in their own language.
My name is Romina Alejandra. I really like to draw and cook. One day I was drawing and I wanted some markers. And I asked my mother if she could buy them for me. She said no, because she didn't have the money. Today, we received gift boxes. When I opened the box and saw the markers, I was very excited. I learned about God through the box. Today, I prayed that Jesus would come into my heart. I am very grateful to everyone, to God, and to you all for bringing me this box.
This box provides the opportunity to put a smile on a child's face, gets them to know more about Jesus Christ, and also be disciples so that they can be disciple makers in the world.
They're trained and equipped to go out and share their faith with others. And many times in areas where it's an unreached people group, the Bible tells us the time is now.
We have seen churches being planted. We have seen people being transformed.
The mission of Operation Christmas Child never changes.
Children are coming to Jesus, and children are taking the gospel to the ends of the earth.
This is incredible. Millions of children around the world are being impacted by these simple shoebox gifts. One box can touch not just the child, but the whole family. So we need to keep packing those boxes and pray for the children that God will use this in a very special way. So thank you for being a part of it. God bless you.
Is this cool? Yes. The photography that they do is phenomenal. My desire is to go and be there when they give these kids the boxes. I'm trained for this, and I'm trained to be safe. The only time I ever got sick was on my way back from Guatemala. They gave us fresh figs on the plane, on the American plane, and that's the only time I ever got sick. Okay, because you got to know how to operate in the developing world. Well, anyway, let me find out. Like I said, this is I'm kind of new at this. Let's see here. Now, Operation Christmas Child is not a charity, but it is a discipleship ministry. The people distributing the boxes are not there to give gifts, to say Merry Christmas, Jesus loves you, bye-bye. They're not there to say that. And like I said, Jesus did not say to build churches. He said to make disciples. Discipleship takes time and training. Churches are the byproduct of discipleship. So how does this thing work with Operation Christmas Child? So let's go to the map that's on number 2. That should be the number 2 image. Yep, there it is. Okay. Oh, I don't have my little, my pointer. Cool. Yeah, it's in my bag. It's but anyway, up here, and we have some of these out on our table. Up at the top is a family putting. Oh, awesome! Thank you. The red button. Awesome. Thank you so much. Right here is a family putting their box together, and here's a packing party, and then you go to the collection. And now in Berry County, there's a little church, Inner Lakes Baptist is brand new, and but I think Plainwell First Baptist, I think they're a collection point as well. So it really doesn't matter, hey, as long as they get to Chicago, I don't care, all right? But anyway, then the processing center for most of us is going to be in Chicago. Mercedes and I, we've gone there twice to the processing center, and they, at the processing center, every box is opened up. And you got to make sure that there's certain things that you don't want to have in there. And, and then sometimes there's a few boxes that just don't have much in it. And we'll put some more things in them, okay? So in the processing center, they're put into these big cartons. You saw those big cartons where those guys was carrying those around. And so they are either flown in a big plane, or they're sometimes put into a ship. Then the other thing happens where the countries where they're going to be at. So it's sort of like this. So this is us. This is us sending all these boxes, and then it ends up in another country. Now, just for your information, it's not just the America. Canada is doing this. Great Britain is doing this. Spain. We didn't know about that. Finland. Was there any other countries? Australia. Yes. And I was shocked that Spain was doing this, but they are doing that. And in fact, we were in Spain this last February. Well, anyway, so now there's another distribution center right here, and then that is then sent out to the churches, and each of these churches are also trained. Now, are there any teachers in this group today? Any teachers here? No teachers. Okay. One of the things about being a teacher is the teacher ends up learning more than the students. So we're teaching the teachers over there. The teachers are also being discipled. Pretty cool, right? And then, all this discipleship is all being done amongst these churches out there. Yes. Oh, 7 minutes. Okay. All right. All right. Now let's go to number 3, the number 3 picture. And we're going to show you the stickers. Okay, so you can pick a boy or a girl. You can pick the different age groups. But one thing I want you to see is this right here. This is new last year. If you take your phone, you can do 2 things. You can pay for your box right from your credit card. You don't have to write a check. You don't have to stick it in the box or mail it through to Samaritan's Purse. You can go right to here, and that'll take care of it. And it'll also tell you where your box ends up when they get to that point. Okay, so you'll get an email on that. So anyway, and this is a sticker. This part here is a sticker, and you just put it right on the box, right here. Okay. Now let's go to the 4th.
So
that's going to be a
you've
video.
packed your Operation Christmas Child shoebox full of love and prayer. Now, how to get it to the other side of the world, where it can bless a child and become a life-changing gospel opportunity. That starts when you send a $10 suggested donation through our website or through the mail. This ensures the greatest possible impact in the life of a child with the clear presentation of the good news of Jesus Christ. Your donation helps to cover shoebox collection, processing, and shipping. And it also provides each child with the greatest gift gospel booklet, printed in their own language. This booklet encourages children and their families to receive God's greatest gift, His Son, Jesus Christ. Your $10 suggested donation also helps train and equip local churches on how to lead an outreach event, share the gospel, and invite boys and girls to participate in follow-up discipleship. Plus, when you give online using your Follow Your Box label, you can discover the destination of your shoebox gift. And last, but certainly not least, if you have packed all of your boxes using our nifty Build a Shoebox online website, then your donation is included. The greatest impact, all for $10. To learn more, visit SamaritansPurse.org/OCC.
There we go. Then let's go to number 5. And we have these little brochures that'll help you to. We've got those out on the table, and it'll give you ideas on how to pack the boxes. Let's go now to. Let's go to number 6. There's a new thing that we can do. Actually, this is very Actually, this is very inexpensive. We've spent $23 on your box. I've got $30 on my box, plus our $10. Okay? For $25, it'll take care of the $10 shipping fee, and this is online. This is online. You can go to Samaritan's Purse, and you can put together your own shoebox. And if you're looking at just money, this is actually very inexpensive. Right. Yeah. So that's great for people. It was one of the things that came out of COVID is this. All right. Now let's do number. Let's see. We're going to number 6. There we go. Yeah, and this is the friends. This is really kind of cool. You can fill out your information and give this, the child who gets the box will get your information, and they can know a little bit about you. Now, my wife feels that I have a very wild imagination. And I have this thing that in eternity, we're going to have a lot of time, right? I believe that God's going to bring these kids to us because, hey, we got eternity, right? Why not bring these kids to us so that we can get to know them in heaven, the ones that become Christians? Now let's go with the next one here. Now, some of you want numbers. Okay. Every 60 minutes, 1,041 kids hear the gospel. That is every 60 minutes of the year. Okay? That's how many kids that we're impacting. This many kids will see it every 60 minutes, and 461 of them will do the greatest journey. And this is, this is the teacher's guide, and this is the kid's guide. And this is a 12-week discipleship program. And so 461, almost half will go through the discipleship. Then this many will finish the training, and this, so about 27, 28 of the kids actually become Christians. Yes, so yeah, 28% will become Christians. This is big, and we did 10.1 million. And then this many have committed to pray. This is the kids that now they're praying for other kids. I mean, this is amazing. This whole thing with all these numbers. I'm not a number guy, but this is really cool. Okay. And the last one is National Collection Week, the 3rd week of November, and bring your boxes on the November 13th. All right. Are there any questions?
In the age breakdown, is there one age that gets less than the others? Like, do the little kids get more boxes than the older kids? Do you know what I mean?
Actually, the older kids are the ones that get the least, and the boys get there's more to the girls than there is to the boys. So if you're looking for who's getting the least, do the boys, and the oldest boys, right? I do one, and I do a soccer ball, a football actually, and we got a phone call from Honduras one year, and I don't speak Spanish, so I handed the phone to Mercedes, and there was a young lady. She wanted to thank us because that football that her little brother had gotten was his most prized possession, and she just wanted to thank us, and it was really cool.
And that also that $10 that you put in, this said that included the book?
Yes. You mean all the books? Every box gets one of these.
Okay, and that's including that $10.
Yeah, right. And this. Who covers this then?
You can donate separately. $6 will get a kid through the greatest journey.
I did not know that.
When it made it sound like.
It made it sound like the $10 help.
No, you get the little book. They all get their little book.
Oh.
Okay, so the little book's included, but if you want the big book, that would be $6.
Yeah, they like to, yeah.
Okay.
But that includes training the teachers and their guide and everything.
Because last year, the year before, I put out that if they didn't want to do, if they just wanted to do a donation, that it could go towards the books, and that was okay.
You know, like I said, where I'm new, I did not know that. But anyway. Oh, awesome.
Do you deflate your soccer ball and put a pump in it?
Yes, I put a pump in it, and I deflate it. And if you take a look at mine, I actually took the needle and I taped it to the outside, so I don't want that getting bent. Right. So I actually
The display
yeah,
table.
you can see what I did.
We brought 2 boxes, samples. One is for a girl, one is for a boy, so that you can see, have ideas of what to pack. And the one for the boy has a soccer book.
You might also do the cars.
Yes, we brought some cars. There was some gentlemen made a bunch of little wooden cars. If you're going to send some to, like, say, if you're going to do a little boy box, there's some little wooden cars out there. I have some sewing kit things like where you put the needle, threading in, and some other things. I've got some of those if somebody's interested in that, because a lot of you ladies, you've got pins, you've got needles, you've got all that other stuff, but you're not going to have some of these other things that you might have one. So I've got some of those that could go with a sewing kit.
So we're going to be out there at the display table. There are already boxes that you can take with you today if you're interested in packing, and we can answer your questions out there.
All righty. Very good.